Welcome. Hello, everyone. It's a little bit blurry. I am a bit blurry. Okay, cool. Um, welcome. My name is Jean Paul, he, him pronouns. Actually, we will be introducing ourselves again later. Um, we are so glad you are here to kind of uh, for us to be able to share some of the things that we have been working as a team, as a shared power team that belongs into the equity and belonging bench within the Office of Equity. It is such a pleasure that we get to showcase some of the work that we have been working towards since January. Myself and one of our teammates, Sabrina, came on board, and shortly after that, our beloved Rauneisha, came on board as well, and to kind of show share her brilliance and continue to further our efforts in creating tools and resources for the enterprise, both executive leaders, frontline staffers, and everyone in between to be equipped on how we're going to center community in all we do. Relationship is very dear to us, so it is a pleasure to kind of showcase some of the work that we are doing. I am as I said earlier, my name is Jean Paul, he, him pronouns. I am a somewhat tall, dark-skinned black man who has short hair, beard, who's wearing a gray blazer with a gray shirt, and we'll kind of share who we are and kind of dive into the work that we have been doing. I will pass it on to Sabrina.
All right. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I almost said good morning. Woo! Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sabrina Njoroge. My pronouns are she, her, and they. I'm also, surprise, shared power consultant as well. I am a tall, light-skinned Black woman who has, I would say, small braids past the shoulder with blonde tips, dark brown roots. I have calico colored glasses. I am wearing a bunch of gold rings on my fingers. You'll see those come up. I have a gold necklace, long sleeve, black shirt with a tan vest. Can't really see it, but I'm wearing black slacks and tan shoes. And with that, I'll hand it over to Rauneisha.
Hi, everyone. Rauneisha Larkins, she, her, and or diva pronouns, whichever one you remember or whatever, avid Beyonce fan. So if you want to call me diva, then that's fine. Just saying. I am a vertically challenged African American female, more so fair skin. I have mermaid red hair, not like the picture. In my picture, I have brown hair, but I have red hair and I have on a checkered brown and tan jacket from Shein. And then I have on a tan jumpsuit from Fashion Nova. So thank you for being with us today. And we're going to go ahead and get this presentation started, y'all.
All right. Give me one more second. I'm trying to go backwards. And let's see here, because we skipped ahead. Okay, so let's do an overview. So today we're going to do some fun, engaging activities, right? We're going to have you commenting in the chat, maybe pop out some emojis if you want to. And then we're going to go into what is relational partnership? What does that mean? We're going to talk about what that means. From there, we're going to talk about how does it connect to PEAR, the pro-equity anti-racism work? How is it all connected? From there, we're going to go from theory to reality. So that's everything that we've learned, not only today, but also yesterday a little bit when we talked about being relational, and see how we can put that into action. Last but not least, we're going to talk about some ways that you can get engaged, right? We've heard again over the last 2 days that it's more than just having the conversation, but it's putting that work in. So we'll help get you connected and provide some opportunities. So let's see here. One more. All right. So how to show up authentically. So I want to make sure that I say this, I'll say it today, and I'll also say it, right now, and at the end of our presentation, but everything that we have on the screen, whether it's the how to show up authentically bookmark, or it's our video that we'll show later, or our 7 pit stops, all of this will be available, including the presentation, after the convening concludes. We'll have it online. We'll have it on, not LinkedIn. What am I thinking of? The website, YouTube. Thank you. YouTube. We'll be having everything there, so you can have this in PDF form. You can also reach out to our shared power email, which we'll provide at the very end of the presentation. All right, so let's talk about this. So you can read through these on your own. I'm going to kind of summarize as we go through these, but this is really the way that we want folks to show up in conversation, right? This doesn't just have to be at work. This can be out in community. You can use this with your family. It doesn't have to be in a professional setting whatsoever. Use it in every place where you're engaged in conversation. So these are the 10 values that we came up that we really feel is crucial to building relationships and creating that environment of belonging. So first one says, be transparent. This is so, so important. And building trust within relationships. We need to make sure that when we're talking with people, that we can say what our motive is, right? That we can create a workplace culture where we can trust one another, that I can have open conversations and not have to hide behind something or feel like I can't share something with other people. Super important in building that trust. The next one is speak your truth. So this means to have conversations with one another where you feel like you can, right? Creating that belonging environment where you feel like you can come and say whatever is on your mind. Even if you disagree from me, that's okay. I want you to feel that you have that ability to talk about it, right? To bring your whole authentic self here and to share your ideas with not only me, but those around you. Third one is remain engaged. So this one is a good one, right? We, over the last couple of days, have had very hard conversations. And it's important that when we feel kind of like, what's the word? When we feel that we are in discomfort, right? That moment of discomfort, our body is probably telling us, get out, get out of there, right? We want to leave the conversation. It's making me feel some type of way, whether it's sad, whether it's anger, whatever the emotion may be. It's so important to stay in that conversation and continue to talk about it, right? We don't agree. Let's talk about why, right? We cannot leave that conversation. We have to work through it. It's part of having a healthy relationship. Next is staying curious. This is all about continuous education, right? So we need to continue to learn, whether it's in a conversation and something comes up and you're like, that actually sounds kind of interesting. Maybe I should ask a question about it when it comes up. Maybe I should do my own research, right? These are the ways that you can stay curious. Later on, we'll talk about some resources that we have put in our upcoming equity workbook, where you all can kind of take those resources, learn about them. They're books, they are podcasts, music, videos, movies, you name it, right? These are all ways that you can stay curious and continue to learn about different topics within the equity world. All right. Next is taking time to reflect. So this goes back to having those hard conversations and feeling like we either have to comment on them, or we have to deflect from them, or that we have to solve it. Sometimes it's about that self-awareness, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But sometimes you just need to let that information sit with you. Sometimes these conversations that we're having are very, very heavy. And we don't need to do anything with them, but let them sink in. And so taking some time to reflect on, how does that connect to my life? How does that connect to maybe a family member, a colleague, somebody in the community, somebody that you pass by? It's super, super important to be able to reflect on that. Next one is assume good intentions. And I'm going to try to slow down because when I get passionate, I talk real fast. So, so sorry. So, assuming good intentions and owning your impact. Let me know in the chat how many of you have heard. I'm sorry that made you feel that way. I didn't intend that. Right? Oh, no. I that's not what I meant. Thumbs up, emojis. Have you ever heard of that? Anybody out there heard of that? Okay, I see some thumbs. We see some thumbs. Yeah, so this is something that we hear very often, right? We need to start assuming that people have that good intent behind whatever it is that they're talking about or saying, but we need to hold them accountable. People have to understand that what impact that they have could be harmful, right? So it's important to be aware of that. All right, next one is accept and accept non-closure. So I'm going to use a real hot word in here. That's white supremacist culture, right? White supremacist culture has told us that we need to fix something. We need to solve it. We need to make sure that it's wrapped up and tight and we move on, right? Sometimes these hard conversations come up and it's okay to not have closure. It's okay to leave it unsolved. We don't need to solve everything right now, and we shouldn't. And that's very important. I'm going to turn it over to our moderators who have a question. Go ahead, Rauneisha.
Not necessarily a question, Sabrina, but we had two comments. One from Shelly, and Shelly stated, "My husband says, I'm sorry you feel that way, and it drives me nuts." So just wanted to, shed some light on that, because definitely, that is one aspect of it. And definitely, like Sabrina alluded to, this doesn't have to be just in a work setting, but definitely in your personal home as well. And then Stacy stated, "Don't take it personally," is literally a huge trigger. So thank you for sharing.
Absolutely. And I think we talked about it earlier, and I can't remember if this was the space or not, but we talked a little bit about gaslighting, right? So it's about saying, "Oh, I'm sorry you took it that way. That's not what I meant. Don't take it personally. I'll just brush it off." Why? Why? And actually, you know what? I challenge you to ask that question. Why? Why should I just brush it off? Why shouldn't I take that personally? Right? Have those hard conversations. And thank you for those that are dropping those comments in the chat. Appreciate them. Keep them coming. All right. So we are going to move on to, let's see, number 8, if I can count right today. Seek to understand. So seek to understand means that you have that understanding of, we all come into spaces, again, not necessarily work, but we all come into these spaces with different backgrounds. Not one of us are the same. Each of us are different in our own way. And so it's important when we're engaging in conversation, and it's simple conversation, right? Again, does not have to be work related, but when we're coming into spaces with others, we have to understand where they're coming from and meet them where they are. It's super important to do that. All right, next is checking your privilege. So I kind of jumped it a little bit, and I talked about our equity workbook that we will hopefully be releasing soon. We'll take a little more deeper dive into privilege, talk about maybe privileges that you already knew that you had, or maybe some that you just realized that you have right now, and that's okay. But in this situation, what we want to do is we want to make sure that we're checking our privilege when we're having discussion, right? So just because you have an understanding of how things work, or you have a certain privilege, doesn't mean that you are the subject matter expert, right? Making sure you check your privilege and using your platform to maybe support other voices that are not normally at the table. Super important. Last but not least, and I'll hand it over, is show up and be your authentic self. This is what we strive to get to. This is part of that sense of belonging, creating that environment where everybody feels like they can show up, say exactly what is on their mind, have those hard discussions, and be you, right? It's taken me almost 30 years to come to the conclusion that I don't need to wear a mask anymore, right? I want to be in situations where I can have a conversation and not be ridiculed. I want to be in a space where I feel free to share my thoughts and somebody's not going to be surpassed, or I'm not going to be surpassed. Somebody else is going to get that opportunity, right? So going through all these values, we hope that you can get to that place of belonging, right? Create that belonging environment and show up as you truly are. And so one thing that I've been saying throughout these sessions today is feel free to take this and use this in your, agencies. Feel free to take this to holiday dinners. I mean, use it wherever you would like in the community. This is for you all. Our team, as well as the office, but our team specifically will continue to create resources to help support that so that we can become a government and a state that is more relational with one another. All right, I'm going to hand it to Jean.
Thank you, Sabrina. Yes, I second that motion for the holiday dinners to have these crucial conversations. Um, we are going to get a little bit more engaging. We have an activity that we are going to partaking, and so this is how it's going to go. Um, so take a moment to introduce yourself. It says here at your table, but we're going to tweak that a little bit. So we're going to in the chat introduce yourself and take a moment to kind of like share with us what does a successful relationship look like when trust is at the center of it. How do we how does trust show up in successful relationships? Go ahead, share with us some of those. It could be an emoji, it could be a few words, or it could be a full sentence. Go ahead. There's no rules in how we engage as long as it's respectful and aligned with how you show up authentically.
All right, this is Sabrina. I'm also moderating the back now. Look at me. So, or I guess don't. So one of the comments that I want to address before we have more comments about the activity that Jean has on the screen, Jenny Fleming said, I love the image on the previous screen for seek to understand as an adult with a child. It's always important to do this for people, but teach this early by doing this with our kids too.
Wow. Yes, that's something that our team we have discussed a lot because one of the things that we have said, I'm probably like kind of jumping the gun here. Excuse me for lack of a better term. We are somebody's ancestor. So it's the work that we are doing is intergenerational. That means it crosses not just our generation, but those who are coming up and going to be impacting and influencing how we age in our state and in our country, in our world. So yes, I second that. Thank you. We have some more. Okay. Yes, please feel free to continue to engage with us in the chat as those are very dear to us as we hear how what does trust look like in your relationships, especially those that are successful relationship. Yes, keep on jumping into the chat and share with us some of your thoughts.
This is Sabrina again, just going back and reading the chat, and we have one from Griselda. Griselda Arias, please tell me if I'm pronouncing your name right. She, her, from Department of Health. Trust looks like a feeling or a sense of safety.
Wow. Yes.
The next comment is from Steve McDaniel. Again, please, if I mispronounce your name, please tell me in the chat. Steve McDaniel, Tacoma. Oh, 1 second. The chat is popping off.
Yeah, it's
okay.
The numbers are going up.
Okay, so Tacoma Division of Child Support. It includes giving the other the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Michael
Grace.
Wallenfels, Communications Manager, Arts Washington State Arts Commission. Some phrases that connect to trust for me: follow through, give your word, keep it, shared risk, shared reward, and real listening.
Love it. Yes.
Next comments is from Laura Stambaugh from DSHS. Trust feels like changing it up a bit, feeling relieved when sharing your truth because the other persons respond from a place of pause and positivity rather than reacting negatively, cringing, etc.
Wow. Thank you for
Would
that.
we like to comment on those real quick?
Wow. I mean, I'm hearing a lot of grace and when you say something, follow up with it, follow through with it, not just empty calorie promises, but really mean what you say and say what you mean. I am receiving those and I am appreciative of those who are putting some of their thoughts on how a trust shows up in a successful relationship. Thank you. Okay.
All right. So this is from Samuel Cook, he, him, training developer for ALTSA, ALTSA. Trust is being able to be vulnerable with someone knowing it won't be used against me.
Yes. You know, that's the part of like psychological safety we talk about. You know, it could be in the workspace, it could be at home, it could be engaging in community. You know, if we cannot be vulnerable and really feeling like being vulnerable is going to backstab us, then, you know, it doesn't give us a sense of belonging or psychological safety in that relationship. That is key. Thank you for sharing.
All right, next comment is from Jenny Fleming from Employment Security Department. Trust shows up in relationships when people are free to be themselves and can thrive and take risks with that support.
That's freedom. Yes, that's literally being free in your environment. That's pivotal.
Next comment is from Shelley from WashDOT, or the Washington State Department of Transportation. Trust to me means mutual respect and honesty.
Yes, big. I think the essence of the how to show up authentically that Sabrina graciously, eloquently spoke on. It's really that. Really, that's the essence of it. Respect. You know, giving each other that respect that we deserve, because that is the essence of good relationships. So incredible. Thank you all. We have any more?
Yes, we do.
Oh, cool.
Sabrina again. So this one is from Joanna Falcatan. She, her. Again, please correct me because I want to make sure I get that right. Department of Revenue.
Hello, sis.
Is somebody coming off mute to answer? If not, if you could please mute yourself. Thank you so much. Okay, so Joanna Falcatan, she, her, Department of Revenue. Trust equals giving each other the time and space to discuss uncomfortable conversations with respect and honesty.
Yeah.
Next one is from Alicia McCoy. She, her, trust looks like freedom to just me.
Yes. Imagine just being able to be, you know, without any what you call the prejudgment or repercussions. That is huge.
All right, we're gonna do three more.
Three more,
and then we'll move on to the next section.
Alrighty, three more.
So I'm gonna go do them back to back and then comment at the end.
Cool.
So Rachel Gustafson, oh girl, Gustafson. There we go. She, her, DCYF, Department of Children, Youth, and Families. Excuse me. Licensing Division. Trust is at the core of being your authentic self, being vulnerable and freedom.
Yes.
Rebecca Satterland, Department of Commerce, Housing Trust Fund. Trust looks like giving someone the most generous interpretation of a situation and active listening from both parties.
I love that. One more.
And last one is from Deb Calcote. She, her, ESD, Employment Security Department. Trust is when I know I can depend on someone, come together with love in our hearts with whatever we are facing.
Thank you. Thank you to our moderator for put this together and kind of show us some of those engagements we've had in the chat. Thank you. Rauneisha?
Thank you. Thank you. Okay. So, y'all, I don't know if y'all ready for this, but we got a test. Okay. Now, I'm going to be honest with you all. I know it's the end of the day. So I'm asking you all to bear with us and just see it through because it's going to come together. I know you're like, oh boy, it's the end of the day and they're trying to give me a test. But the thing is, there is no wrong answers, right? And so it's open book and we're just asking for either agree or disagree, right? So here are the instructions. There are going to be 10 statements that are going to come up on the next slide. For every statement that you agree with, give yourself a 0. And for every statement that you disagree with, give yourself a 5. Okay, so for every statement that you agree with, give yourself a 0. And for every statement that you disagree with, give yourself a 5. Okay, so we got that. Agree equals 0. Disagree equals 5. Nothing in between. No in betweens, no 2.5s, no 3s. Just agree or disagree. 0 or 5. Okay, so here comes the pop quiz, the open book pop quiz. Doom, 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 doom. Doom, 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 doom. Yes, I like sound effects, everyone. Okay, so I'm going to read them out loud, but they are also on the screen. Okay, so for each question, we're trying to make it as simple as possible. It's 10 questions. Now, if you're like me, I don't do math. So if you want to use your phones, the calculators on your computer, whatever may have you, please feel free to do so. Okay? Okay. So first one is, my name is commonly mispronounced. Once again, my name is commonly mispronounced. Number 2, I am often dismissed when I give my ideas in a public setting. I am often dismissed when I give my ideas in a public setting. Number 3, I hesitate to bring my true, authentic self to my workplace due to fear of being judged. I hesitate to bring my true, authentic self to my workplace due to fear of being judged. I have been the only person of my race and or ethnicity in a classroom or workplace. I have been the only person of my race or ethnicity in a classroom or workplace. Number 5, I wanted to participate in something, but was limited based on financial resources. I wanted to participate in something, but was limited due to financial resources. Number 6, I feel overlooked when I voice my opinions or ideas, while others are acknowledged for saying the same opinions or ideas. I feel overlooked when I voice my opinion or ideas, while others are acknowledged for saying the same opinions or ideas. Number 7, I have visible or invisible disabilities, or abilities. I have visible or invisible disabilities. Number 8, I have an immediate family member who has served time in a state or federal penitentiary. I have an immediate family member who has served time in a state or federal penitentiary. Number 9, I have been hesitant to speak to avoid being ridiculed because of my accent, speech impediment, and or language barrier. Bear with me, y'all. I just got braces 3 weeks ago. So my mouth is sticking together right now. So I'm going to repeat that one just because, yes, it goes along with that one. Again, I have been hesitant to speak to avoid being ridiculed because of my accent, speech impediment, and or language barrier. And number 10, I am often told that my appearance is unprofessional. I am often told that my appearance is unprofessional. Okay? So take some time, add up your scores. And what we're going to do is we don't need you to necessarily give us your scores. If you don't want to drop your score in the chat, that's okay. You don't have to drop your score in the chat. But if something came to mind while hearing this and while seeing these statements or questions, feel free to raise your hand and we'll moderate it and ask you to come off chat or drop. If you don't feel comfortable with speaking out loud, we will read the comment. So feel free to comment and or raise your hand if you would like to say something about something that came to mind while answering these questions or statements. They're calculating. It's okay. I told y'all I'm not good at math either. So I understand completely. So yes, I get it. Just let us know when you're ready, and we'll dive in. We're gonna tease this apart. We're gonna pick it apart, and we're gonna figure out what are some things that come to you. What are some of those intrusive thoughts that you had when you first saw this? You know, what are those feelings that came to mind, whether big or small? That's okay. Jean Paul,
it looks like we have a hand up. Deb Calcote.
Go for it.
Yeah, I would like to be involved when I can. It makes these a little more exciting. So thank you, Deb Calcote, she, her pronouns, Employment Security Department. As we continue to go through this list, I just felt lucky and a little ashamed of that because I know a lot of people who would not have had a 5 for any of these. And it's why this DEI journey is so, has been really eye-opening. So it just is, it's a good reminder to think about, some of the luck I've had and how I can share that with others. So thank you.
Thank you so much. We have a few comments as well that I would like to
absolutely
to kind of read. Shelly Starrett said, number 7 struck a chord. I have social anxiety, but work in an environment where I have to deal with people constantly. It's stressful.
Yeah.
Rogers says, a very good reminder that I exist very easily in this world, and so many others do not have that luxury. While I do have my own internal struggles, there are many things that afford me ease of existence.
Absolutely.
Wow, incredible. Thank you so much, Rogers. Rebecca says, same for sure. Well said. Very well said.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Can you hear me?
Keep bringing them.
Absolutely. To touch on a few things, thank you all for commenting, and thank you all and Deb, thanks for coming off mute. And, if you're in a chat, thank you. We want this to be relational. We want to be in conversation. We want to be in a community. So thank you for that. It's a lot to, be able to put yourself out there. But this is what it's about. It's about understanding that, although someone may have social anxiety, and that is still an invisible disability, and people don't understand that sometimes. So having that grace with one another definitely goes a long way. So thank you for stating that, and thank you for the other two comments about recognizing that sometimes I do have these privileges, that I do hold some privileges. So thank you for acknowledging that, because that's the first step in anything, and understanding how do we progress by first acknowledging our own privileges that we carry. So thank you.
Beautiful. Well said, Rauneisha. Stacy Calloway says, I agree with Shelley. Number 7 is really important to me. I'm autistic and have suppressed or masked most of my life, and it's exhausting.
And it's exhausting. And it's exhausting. You are absolutely right. And although, I'm gonna go off script a little bit. I don't know if everybody knows this. I can empathize with that. My brother is 30 years old. He's on autism spectrum as well. So has lived his whole entire life, um, being autistic, having that mental health illness. And it has impacted his life. So thank you for sharing that, and thank you for being vulnerable in this moment. When you're vulnerable, that allows us to be vulnerable as well. So thank you for sharing that also.
Yeah. Well, thank you to you, Rauneisha, for sharing. We're sending love to you.
Absolutely.
And your brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Keep bringing them. Keep commenting. We're loving this. One of the things I will say is, as we talk about, and we're reading all these fabulous comments, we all hold some type of privileges, and those privileges are power that we hold. What we ask all of you who are participating in this session, what is it? Segment is really to leverage that power that you hold and share with those who do not have the power that you hold, and which will foster a more belonging space for all of us, and show up for others how you would like them to show up for you. Absolutely. Rebecca Saddleland said, "This is a great reminder for those of us that do have those advantages, to think about how those of us who have those advantages, how do we remove those barriers and make a difference to those who do agree with any of these things, as well as countless other things." Thank you.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Well said, Rebecca. Thank you for
Absolutely. And just to kind of let you all know, sometimes I'm not going to have a lot to say back, because you all are saying it, but you'll hear me saying, that's my thing, y'all. Yeah, that part. I'll say, ooh, that part. Or I'll say, I'm letting y'all know that's what we're doing. But hello, as Jean Paul will say. But you all are right. This like we said, this is a pop quiz. No wrong answers. But you all are absolutely right, because it's your experience. It's not ours to grade you on. So this is not a teacher-student relationship, but it's a relational partnership here that we're doing, right? So just know that, like I said, no wrong answers. You all passed. Nobody failed. So thank you all for engaging in this activity and taking our pop quiz and our equity test. Sabrina, we're going to go ahead and go. Oh, so Sabrina is going to take us to the next slide, which is inevitably a break. We're going to give them 5 minutes? 5 minutes, 10 minutes, just kidding, 10 minutes. We're going to have a timer going. So when the timer stops, then we will resume. So we have a 10-minute break, and just come back after the 10 minutes is over with. Enjoy the fish aquarium and the solemnness of the fishies. Okay, thank you.
All right. Welcome back from the break. Give it a few more seconds for people to trickle on in. And we're going to go into an activity. So give me a smiley or heart emoji in the chat if you are back from break. We're getting some responses. Okay. All right. Looks like people are back. Awesome. So next activity. So what I would like for everyone to do is just drop in the chat. And this is not an open book test. This one is closed book. So it's way different from earlier. So when you think of the phrase shared power or relational partnership, what comes to mind? Drop that in the chat. And don't look at any materials. Don't pull up our website. Don't try to cheat now.
No cheating.
All right. So when you think of the phrase shared power or relational partnership, what comes to mind? And I'll hand it over to Rauneisha and she will go over some comments.
Marriage, equality, survivor. We are in this together. Connection, equity, and inclusion. Community partners. I'm trying to read them as they come in.
No, yeah, go for it.
My apologies. I'll slow down. Included in decision making. Absolutely. Absolutely. Somebody else second that. Connection, collaborative. Absolutely. Another equity. Absolutely. Approaching decisions as a team. Nothing for us without us. If that, let me tell y'all, that's like the second time we've heard that today. And when I say every time it hits, it just hits home because nothing for us without us. It's just a strong statement. So thank you for that. Alicia, possibly. If I'm saying your name wrong, please correct it. Respect for others' opinions, respect, inclusion, equity, and justice. Yes, thank you for correcting. Thank you for stating that. Transparency, communication, being in the room where it happens, hearing unheard voices first. Absolutely. Togetherness. It means that paid state employees with degrees and professional experiences are not making decisions about and for people of the state who live within the state systems. Come on, somebody. Yes, Samuel Cook. Samuel Cook, you related to Sam Cooke, the singer? Okay, never mind. Just kidding. But I'm just saying, I wish. I'm just saying, I would just tell people that. So thank you for sharing that. Thank you. Y'all are all right. We don't have a wrong answer. So thank you all for dropping that in the chat. I'm gonna pass it over to the counterparts and let them elaborate.
Yeah. Oh my, thank you so much for sharing all your thoughts on what is shared power. What does that mean to you? What comes up to in mind when we think of relational partnership, shared power? You all had phenomenal answers, so we don't even have to really close it off. Like this was kind of self-explained. So thank you.
Learn something new every day, don't you? So, I'm going to keep giving credit where credit is due because I didn't hear it and I wish I would have thought of it first. But since I didn't think of it first, I'll give credit where credit is due. Sabrina said in one of our earlier sessions, and it has sunk in my heart and my soul today, and I will keep saying it, but shared power is who we are. Shared power consultants is who we are. And a relational partnership is what we do, right? So as our job, as our title, we're shared power consultants. That is our whole basis of the office of within the office of equity is to be shared power consultants. Now, what we do is we try to embed relational partnership in agencies. We try to embed relational partnership with the community. We try to help people get the tools they need to build those bridges, right? So regarding shared power, the 4 shared power principles, and this is derived from, or this comes from the Center for Public Impact. So the shared power principle, right, is 4 patterns in a shared power principle. So 1, it focuses on who gets to make the decisions, right? It's important to understand that the people that have the lived experience within the community, they should be at the table. They should have a seat at the table. Why are we making decisions for other people that aren't even there to speak for themselves? How equitable is that? And some of you, mentioned that in the chat. Togetherness, having people with lived experiences, no matter what the lived experiences are, enabling them and empowering them to be at the table, bringing a chair to the table so they can sit down. Come on, somebody. You hear it? Hello. Okay. Thank you. Thank you. So, okay, I'm gonna get off my soapbox because we're gonna be here all day if I start that. So with that being said, the next one, number 2, is how do we relate to one another? So relationships first. Shared power principle focuses on building those relationships first. You can't do shared power without relationship first. So how do we relate to one another? You got to build those relationships first. Next is who is accountable to whom? How do you promote autonomy? Okay. So every human, and I got a clinical social work background, so I don't want to go too deep into this. But you got Maslow's hierarchy of needs. Now, if I'm going too far, somebody stop me. But you got Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And the goal of every human is to reach self-actualization, right? So in order for everybody to do that, everybody's basic needs have to be met in an equitable fashion. And equity is going to look different for everybody because everybody has different needs, right? So how do we promote autonomy? How do we empower someone that may have those physical, mental, whatever, invisible or visible disabilities? How do we promote that autonomy amongst them, right? And then lastly, but certainly not least, how does improvement happen? And it happens by building a culture of continuous learning. And what continuous learning looks like is not just saying, oh, I'm the DEI expert here and I know everything, because you don't. We don't. Neither one of my teammates, we don't know everything either. But what we're committed to is to continuous learning, whether that's formal, whether that's informal, whether that's just by constructive criticism. Someone's telling me, oh, that what you said there wasn't accurate. You're right. Okay. So educate me, teach me so that I can do better. But having that environment and that mindset that you are a continuous learner. That's the only way we're going to push this work forward and continue to share that power and build those relationships. If we continue to have an open mindset to, and build humility and have that culture and build a culture, is by creating a culture of continuous learning. So thank you. I'm gonna get off my soapbox and I'm gonna give it to the next person. So yes.
Thank you, Rauneisha. That was well said. We are going to dive in a little bit deeper into some of what is a relational partnership. We have a video. We have a video that we would like to share with y'all in a segment here once we get our technology in order. There we go. Yes, it's going to be a quick video on what is relational partnership.
In a world of inequality, where the system only works for some and not for all, where entire communities have lost faith in the powers that be, and where far too many individuals don't feel seen, heard, or valued, one state has risen up and said no more, with the goal of making Washington a truly belonging state. The Office of Equity will not rest until everyone is truly supported, respected, and empowered. When all the good intentions of the past haven't gotten Washington where it needs to be, it's now all about taking action. This starts with relational partnership, an empathy-centered co-creation between government agencies and those commonly excluded and marginalized by government decisions, coming together to undo past harm, restore trust, and advance pro-equity anti-racism or PEAR outcomes, This epic shared journey to a belonging state is already underway. Of course, it will not be easy, and we won't reach our destination overnight. However, the good news is we now have a roadmap to belonging, with its 7 crucial pit stops along the way: reflection and accountability, trust, vulnerability, intentionality, mindsets, healing, and community. Each pit stop allows us to think about how we got here, how we show up for ourselves and others, and what we can do better on the road ahead. Although the journey to belonging may be challenging, we each have access to a relational partnership toolkit to help us prepare for the trip, maintain momentum on the road, and rebuild and restore relationships along the way. Together, will we reach our destination and make Washington a belonging state? The answer is up to you.
This video was, thank you for taking the time to watch this with us. This video was curated by our fellow team, Shared Power team within the Office of Equity, and in partnership with Splinters, where we got to put relational relational partnership in practice. That was one of our great opportunities that we were able to create this thing where to showcase what is in a brief way and very engaging and cool visuals on what is relational partnership. I hope you were able to take some of the message and what the essence of what this video means. So we want to kind of like, I think you all have shared your thoughts on what is relational partnership. So I won't go too deep into what it is because we all have a very good understanding of what this is. Relational partnership is empathy in action. It is centering those with the lived experience and connecting them, connecting us really, because we all have lived experiences to be connected with those with the power to implement the change that will impact those who have lived some of those inequities that exist in government. So when we talk about partnership is centering community voice, our goal as Shared Power Consultant is in our PEAR plan and playbook, which is our constitution, if you will, of the office. Community is the guiding light. With in the ecosystem, when we think of a community is the guiding light. If you study plants or you're a plant lover or nature lover, you know the impact of photosynthesis. What it does, it gives you life. It gives you the nutrients you need to grow and thrive. So we don't want to live in a state that where we only surviving. We want to be able to thrive and enjoy our lives in a way that is dignified. So we want to reshape the dynamics of power, which means that we sharing it. Those with as we did the equity test earlier, we are getting accustomed to sharing power. That means showing up for others the way that we would like them to show up for us. So it's getting into that mindset of if I hold power in a respective area, how can I be mindful to those who do not share those powers and bring them along with us and share what we enjoy with them. So this is kind of in that mindset that we want to implement our policies, our practices, and day-to-day processes on how we embed equity in what we do. We'll pass it on to Sabrina.
Hello, hello. All right. So activity number, or this is 3, activity 3. Sure, let's go with 3. All right. So in the chat, I want you to tell me, how do you think relational partnership is connected to PEAR, pro-equity, anti-racism work? How is relational partnership connected to PEAR? Go ahead and drop your comments in the chat.
Oh, don't be scared now.
I was
Come
gonna
on.
say I want to put some do do do.
Don't be scared. Don't be scared.
Also, I can sing. That was not my singing voice, just for the record. So please do not hold me accountable to that one.
We got something. Jenny stated, relational partnership is connected to PEAR by taking into account individual needs of customers. Absolutely.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then Monique stated, everyone has an equal seat at the table.
Mm-hmm.
Terry stated, required to ensure equality and alleviate racism. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, absolutely. PEAR work can't be done without sharing power, respecting the individuals, and striving to deliver equity and justice. Come on,
Rauneisha,
Sonia.
who was that?
That was Sonia Young, baby. Yes, yes.
Sonia, if you would like to be the 4th shared power consultant,
stop recruiting. Stop recruiting.
We're done. That was a presentation. Sonia got it. It's cool.
Sonia's gonna take it from here. Samuel Cook jumped in and says, it makes space for people to take power over the systems that affect their lives.
Okay,
yes.
Sam.
Okay.
All right.
Okay. All right. Absolutely. We will need to, Deb stated, we all need to think about the right people here before we move forward. Absolutely. Who are the right people? Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Who are the right people?
That's
and
wonderful.
And the right people will look different in different scenarios, right, Deb? Because in one situation, we may need a different, there's going to be different tables. Yeah, different lens. It's not a one size fit all that we're trying to accommodate here, right? So thank you for bringing it up, Deb.
All right. So thank you for everyone dropping their comments in the chat. Truly appreciate that. So let's talk about it, right? One question that we get asked a lot is, are you the same as PEAR? What are you? That's a bigger question. First of all, we need to address that. But what is PEAR and how is it connected to relational partnership? Now, on the Office of Equity's website, there is a lot of information on what PEAR is, that it's like a deeper dive into what that looks like, right? On the right-hand side of the screen, there's a QR code that if you scan it, there's also a link there as well. If you scan it, it should take you directly to our PEAR plan and playbook. That is a mouthful. I also have braces. It's been a lot. So that should take you there. You should see this ecosystem in there as well. Go ahead and share that with friends, community, other coworkers who may not have had the chance to view that. Has really, really good information in there. But let's focus on this ecosystem in front of us. The reason I show this is because we want to make sure that if you take anything away from our presentation today, the one thing that you can leave with is understanding that relational partnership is the foundation to PEAR, right? It's the foundation for PEAR to thrive. Without relational partnership, PEAR is not sustainable. You cannot do pro-equity, anti-racist work if you are not building relationships with people, right? So I'll give you an example. Example I've been using all day, and it's been amazing. So I hope this lands. So let's say that we are buying a home, okay? So our first option is an amazing, beautiful exterior house. Just think about your dream house. That's what it looks like on the outside, right? So you go inside and your realtor says, listen, them bones is bad. They got bad bones. That foundation is cracked. There's a lot of leaks. The AC heating unit is broken. It's going to cost a pretty penny to get everything working again. Okay. So our option number 2 is a house that maybe has some minor issues as far as the outside, the appearance looks, but it shouldn't take anything to fix it. But the inside is beautiful, right? The inside has a wonderful foundation, strong setup, no cracks, no leaks, Nothing major. Which home are we choosing? Tell me in the chat. Which home are we choosing?
That question was to y'all. Samuel Cook said, depends on the location. That's fair.
That is totally fair.
I'm going to butcher this name. Please.
Also, feel free to raise your virtual hand if you want to comment.
Beauty inside, and I don't go with the good bones. Actually, if you would like to come off mute and say your name, the person that said go with the good bones, I do not want to mispronounce your name.
It's Rebecca Haney Nixon.
Okay. Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you. And then Alicia stated the second option. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for that.
Yes. So you're right. We're going to go with the second option because we want that solid foundation, and that's what relational partnership provides. We need to make sure that the work that we're doing is sustainable, that it's not just something that we're going to work on today and then forget about tomorrow, but that it will continue to evolve, right? So in this photo we have in front of us, we have the PEAR ecosystem. So what I've been kind of going over today is we have the soil. The soil is us. That's shared power / relational partnership. That's the foundation, right? At the top left, we have what looks like rain, and those are our pro-equity consultants. Those are the folks that are going to be pushing this work forward, helping support and guide agencies, get connected with community. So think of that as the rain in this scenario. So if we have the rain, right, and we have the soil, something is going to grow. Something's going to grow, right? But if we don't have community as our guiding light, which is at the top in the center, then what do we have? So this is to show that each and every one of us has a part to play. We cannot do this work, or it is not going to be sustainable. We can do it, but nothing is going to stick if not everyone is playing their part. Community has to be involved. We have to be in relationship with them. We need to be talking. We need to be healing, right? We need to be owning that impact of the harm that we have caused over time. They need to be the guiding light. They are the ones with lived experience, right? We also need relational partnership. We need our PEAR consultants. We also need our community advisory board, right? That's our roots. Those folks are part of the community that are informing us of what's going on around the state. What things do we need to tackle? So I just wanted to make sure that we went over kind of how we're connected, what that looks like visually, and just really drive home that thought of everybody has a part to play. It takes all of us. It's not just me. It's not just the three of us, right? It's not even just the office. Every single Washingtonian has a part to play in this work. All right, I will get off my soapbox. So next is, we're kind of changing it a little bit, going into ways that you can get engaged. So at the very, very beginning, we went over the how to show up authentically, those 10 values, those community agreements. So that is going to be a resource that you all can utilize. Again, you can take back into your communities, into your workspaces. We also have the Relational Partnership 7 pit stops. And those are really the 7, I'm going to use values again, the 7 values towards creating a belonging state. And with that comes our equity workbook. So our equity workbook is taking those pit stops and expanding on them. So we'll have activities that focus on social awareness, right, and equity work, as well as self-awareness, and really go through each one of those pit stops. They'll also, in the very back of that book, again, this should be released hopefully soon. We're in our final stages, but in the back of that book, we'll have resources for you to watch movies, podcasts, listen to music, books, right? We're gonna have lists in there, different websites, all in relation to equity, right? We always get the question, well, I really wanna do more continuous education. So What books do you recommend? We have a list for you. And just know that all of these documents, along with the video that we showed earlier, our relational partnership video, all of those are part of our toolkit, right? So this is not something that's stagnant. We're not just going to say, okay, so here's 5 of our resources and that's it. We're not doing that. This is ever evolving. We're going to continue to be a part of different listening sessions. We're going to continue to be relational with folks across the state and really understand what is needed. We want to be able to create those resources to help support you all. So we're going to be adding some resources in the next couple of months as well as going into next year. But we just wanted to make sure that you had an idea of what that looks like. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Rauneisha to talk about our partnership with CPI.
Yes. But before I talk about that, in the chat, we dropped our LinkedIn in the chat. And with our LinkedIn, we're going to, there is some resources on there about what the Office of Equity is doing currently. We have our videos listed to our YouTube channel and also ways that you can subscribe to our Gov delivery messages as well. And a lot of the documents that we have they will be on our new website once it becomes available, but most importantly, they are on all of our LinkedIn and all of our social networks. With the TikTokers, we ain't got a TikToker. I'm just kidding, y'all. We don't have TikTok, but we do have Facebook. We do have Instagram. We have LinkedIn,
YouTube.
We're getting there, y'all. So we're getting somewhere. So to move on and talk about the Washington Equity Program. So the Office of Equity ideally has collaborated with a nonprofit organization called the Center for Public Impact, which ideally they're a global organization that reimagines the way government is, reimagining the way government is engaging with community. It's been a long day. There we go. So with that being said, it's a 3-year-long project that we're collaborating on, and we are ideally in the very beginning stages, but we're recruiting to have people involved. We want community validators, which means it's people who are actively contributing, the champions, people that you know. It may be your aunt, it may be your uncle, it may be your friend, it may be a coworker, some people that are in the community that are ideally engaged with this work in being champions of equity. It is also listed on our LinkedIn page. You will see us 3 in a picture, but it's a press release that discusses the entirety of the equity of the Washington Equity Program, or we call it WEP for short. So just know that that is coming along, and if you would like to be engaged, or you know someone that may be fitting for this Washington Equity Program and really want to be a champion of equity, tell them to come on board. We'll take everyone that is willing to do the work. Got to be willing to do the work, but we're definitely wanting people that has that drive and that passion to push forward the change, and ideally be ambassadors for this work and be ambassadors for the Office of Equity. A lot of good gems that are going to be put out there, a lot of great collaborative efforts. It does require some commitments that are listed on the press release as well, but it's about creating a community of practice. It's about creating that space to engage with other people and be relational, to understand how can we now push this work forward? How can we get aligned together? So, JP, you want to say anything?
What I would add to that is the Washington Equity Program is very vital to the office and our state. In this phase, the first phase, it's going to be a list, a cohort, a learning network that consists of senior staffers and community validators to really further embed and institutionalize equity within our state government. So it is the backbone of the office, and going to further our efforts and continue creating impact in our state and promoting equity and belonging.
Just kidding.
In conclusion, we want to say thank you. Thank you to all of you who tuned in and to our workshop today. It's been an incredible day to share some of the things that we as a team have been working on and how we are we have really tirelessly have been working on some of those things that you got to be exposed to. So thank you for your energy, thank you for your commitment, and thank you for ASL for all your contributions in creating a space where everyone belongs. Truly appreciate you all for collaborating with us and all our efforts to promote equity. Appreciate you all.
Thank you. Do you all are there any questions in the chat?
Oh.
Okay. Thank you for all the love, y'all.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes.
That means it's a little heart. It's a little bitty heart. It's a little heart.
Yes.
So thank you for the love. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care, y'all. Enjoy the rest of the day.
Yes. Stay healthy. Stay blessed.